Dementia. The word alone is terrifying. It doesn't just take memories, it takes everything. Your independence, your personality, even your ability to recognize the people you love. And here's the worst part. By the time most people realize it's happening, it's too late. Today we're exposing the 10 nightmares of dementia, not just clinical symptoms, but the brutal realities that destroy lives. If you think dementia is just forgetting things, you have no idea how much worse it gets. Are you ready? Number 1, you lose control of your emotions. Dementia doesn't just affect memory, it rewires your personality. 1 minute, you're calm. The next, you're angry, paranoid, or emotionally numb. New research from 2022 found that over 80% of dementia patients develop severe mood swings and personality changes. This happens because dementia damages the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control and emotional regulation. You might snap at loved ones for no reason, lash out in frustration, or cry uncontrollably over something minor. Some people even become violent or aggressive, attacking their own family members. And here's where it gets even worse. You won't even realize it's happening. The people around you will see it long before you do. Number 2, you become a danger behind the wheel. Dementia doesn't just affect memory, it destroys reaction time, depth perception, and the ability to judge distances. That makes driving a literal death trap. A 2021 study found that people in early cognitive decline are 4 times more likely to be involved in serious car accidents. But here's where it gets even worse. Most people with dementia refuse to stop driving. That means they become a danger to themselves, their passengers, and everyone on the road. And at some point, a family member will have to take away the keys. Number 3, you lose the ability to communicate. Have you ever had a word on the tip of your tongue, but just couldn't remember it? Now imagine that happening with every word, every sentence, every time you try to speak. Many recent studies confirm that language loss starts early, long before severe memory issues. Words become jumbled, sentences don't make sense, and eventually speech just disappears. This means you may start a sentence and forget how to finish it. Conversations become frustrating, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Some people lose their ability to form words entirely, leaving them trapped in silence. And once that happens, you can never say, "I love you" again. Number 4, you lose the ability to make decisions. Imagine not being able to choose what to eat, what to wear, or even when to go to the bathroom. Dementia doesn't just erase memory, it destroys critical thinking, problem-solving, and decision-making skills. A groundbreaking 2023 study found that early dementia patients struggle with financial decisions first, often getting scammed or mismanaging money years before a diagnosis. And here's something most people don't realize. You won't be able to write a will. That means if you haven't planned ahead, you won't get to decide what happens to your money, home, or assets. Instead, someone else will take control whether you like it or not, and it doesn't end there. Someone else will decide everything for you. What you eat, when you shower, whether you go outside, your freedom is gone. Number 5, you forget the people who love you most. Think about the most important person in your life. Maybe it's your spouse, your child, or your best friend. Now imagine looking at them and feeling nothing, because your brain no longer recognizes them. A 2021 study found that dementia patients first struggle with recognizing acquaintances, then friends, then close family members, until eventually they don't even recognize themselves in the mirror. This means that one day your own grandchildren could walk into the room and you wouldn't even know who they are. You could live with your spouse for 50 years, only to wake up and treat them like a stranger. And the most heartbreaking part? It's irreversible. Number 6, you lose control of your bladder and bowels. Few people talk about this, but dementia eventually robs you of all bodily control. One of the first physical symptoms? Losing control of your bladder and bowels. A 2023 study found that over 70% of late-stage patients experience loss of bladder function. This happens because the brain can no longer send the right signals to control urination and digestion. This means you might not feel the urge to go, or forget how to get to the bathroom. Eventually, you'll need adult diapers and full-time assistance. And once you reach this stage, dementia patients rarely live more than a year. Number 7, your risk of fatal falls skyrockets. Most people think dementia is just about the brain, but it also destroys balance and coordination. This puts dementia patients at extreme risk of deadly falls. A 2022 study found that people with dementia are 4 times more likely to suffer life-threatening falls because the disease damages the brain's spatial awareness and motor control. This means you might misjudge a step, lose your footing for no reason, or collapse suddenly. Many dementia patients break hips, suffer head injuries, or end up bedridden after a single fall. And here's what no one talks about. Once a dementia patient becomes bedridden, survival time drops drastically. Most don't live more than 6 to 12 months. Dementia is the 7th leading cause of death worldwide, and right now, there is no cure. The damage is permanent, progressive, and irreversible. Once it starts, there's no stopping it. A new 2023 study confirmed that 93% of dementia patients will not survive beyond 5 years after diagnosis. That means once you get it, the countdown begins. And here's what's truly terrifying. By the time most people notice symptoms, the brain is already severely damaged. But here's the good news. Up to 40% of dementia cases can be prevented. The key is catching the warning signs early and making the right lifestyle changes. Number 8, you become a prisoner in your own home. At some point, dementia steals your ability to live independently. You forget how to drive, how to cook, how to safely walk down the street. Even crossing the road becomes dangerous because your brain can't process depth and movement properly. A 2021 study found that 60% of Alzheimer's patients will get lost at some point, and nearly half of them won't survive if not found within 24 hours. That's why most people with dementia end up locked inside. Families install alarms on doors, restrict movement, and take away all independence. Your world shrinks to one room, one chair, one routine, forever. Number 9, your body forgets how to swallow. One of the most horrifying late-stage symptoms of dementia is losing the ability to swallow. This happens because the disease damages the brain's control over muscles, including those needed for eating and drinking. A 2022 study found that over 70% of late-stage patients develop swallowing difficulties. That means food and water can't be safely consumed, leading to choking, severe malnutrition, and dehydration. At this point, hospitals may suggest a feeding tube. But here's the brutal reality. Most families choose not to use one. Instead, they opt for palliative care, meaning the person is left to fade away naturally. Number 10, you will die slowly and painfully. Most people don't realize how dementia actually kills. Ultimately, it shuts down every part of the body, piece by piece. A 2023 study found that pneumonia is the leading cause of death in dementia patients. Why is that? Because as the brain deteriorates, it forgets how to clear the lungs. That leads to fluid buildup, infections, and eventually the body completely shuts down. In the final months, most patients are bedridden, unable to talk, unable to recognize loved ones, and completely dependent on others for survival. It's a slow, devastating decline, one that no one should have to experience. Here's the part most people don't realize. Up to 40% of dementia cases could be prevented. Brain deterioration doesn't happen overnight. It builds up for years, even decades, shaped by what you eat, how you live, and how you challenge your mind. That means you're not powerless. You can fight back. The question is, will you?
And there you have it. What are your thoughts? Next, dive into this video for more essential tips to transform your health and help you thrive. You're going to love it. Thanks for watching Healthy End, and we'll see you there.